Which division should we tackle today? Your favorite one?
Oh, yeah. I think we got to go AFC South.
Anybody's ball game. All right, let's get to it. Hamilton, should you leave?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, fine. You get out of here. Listen, I may not be in LA. That's right. We're in New York this morning. We're in New York really for the next, 3 weeks? I'm here a lot. You're going to have to deal with a lot of Kay Adams here for a while.
Okay.
But we have Hamilton, and you can yell at me with these unanswered questions. You're like attached to this. Yeah. You can't get very far with that microphone on, but I like it. Let's get to it. We're going to hit the AFC South. Take a look at this right here. These are your FanDuel Sportsbook odds, okay? The Jags. Ha! Is this true? Did you make this up?
I did not.
The Jags are not only the heavy faves to win the South, they're getting the same odds the Chiefs are getting to win the AFC West at -160. The Titans plus 360, the Colts plus 550, and the Texans round things out at plus 800. Thoughts?
It says a lot about the perception of Trevor Lawrence and this Jags team that they're getting those kind of odds right now.
Waffle House put him on the map. And let's start with those Jags. My question is, can they handle that? Don't think I'm crazy. Can they handle being the favorites? Yes, we believe in Trevor Lawrence. We believe in the pedigree. He's been there, done that, and Doug Peterson in that visor. But I got some questions, even though pretty much everybody's coming back and returning to Europe, especially with that core. And then you get Calvin Ridley. He gets to come into the mix for Trevor. This was our first look at him rocking that 0 at Jags OTAs yesterday. Pretty good footwork.
Oh, yeah. And I love the 0. First year you can wear 0.
Yeah.
Love seeing it.
That doesn't even pay, I don't pay attention to it, and you love it. That's why you put it in there. Even with all of this going for them, there are going to be people saying, Jags, who cares? Why? Because things like 2017 happened, and then 2018 it kind of falls apart. That's why we think this. Is it sustainable? Can they build on this? This is a franchise that hasn't won back-to-back division titles since 1998, 1999. Those are like Alanis Morissette, Counting Crows years. What are we talking about here, okay? They want to establish themselves in the public eye, in the public narrative as a contender. You got to follow up a great year with an even better year. It's just what you have to do, or you're never going to get there. You're never going to get over the cliff, and nobody's going to mention you in the AFC. And I'm not really looking at it like, oh, you won the division last year, so you can't sneak up on anybody. I'm looking at it a little bit more pragmatically. When you win a division, you have to deal with the first place schedule. And in the AFC, that is what makes or breaks teams. Let me show you this. The Jags played the Chiefs, as their AFC West opponent. The Bills, as their AFC East opponent. And the Niners, what? This is BS. The Niners are their crossover game. The rest of the division gets who? The Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and they also take on the entire AFC North. It is going to be a tough path here, and it's going to show us what the Jags are made of. I do think they're up to the task here, and if there's anyone doubting whether or not Trevor Lawrence has turned a corner last season to this season, I'm just going to leave you with this, guys. Second half of last year, Trevor went 7-2 and was the highest rating passer in the entire NFL. The highest rated passer, 15 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, and that was before he had a target of Ridley's caliber. So the road's not going to be easy. Duval up for the challenge. They've got momentum. Another year under his belt, another year of stability with the front office and Doug Peterson, and the sky is the limit in that division to waltz up to being a big dog and make an even bigger splash. And then I'm going to have to deal with you. You're going to get like another tattoo. You're going to get a Jags tattoo. It's the only thing you don't have.
No. How do you know?
Do you have a Jags tattoo? Oh, God.
Stay tuned to find
Is it
out.
the mascot in a thong? Like, on your lower back? That's my question for the Jags.
Get to the question.
That's what it
Get
should
to
be.
the
The biggest question for the Jags. Does Hamilton have whatever? Okay, next up, we're going to go to Nashville. My question there is, can I get to Nashville at some point soon? Because I love it there. But can the O-line overhaul, can that whole situation help Tannehill and get the Titans offense back on track? I don't think questioning Tannehill over and over again is entirely efficient or necessarily fair. He's proven he can win divisions and get the team to the AFC title game when he has support around him. But last year, they took his support away. They took food off of his plate, like the main course of his food and the weapon that is A.J. Brown, and they let the O-line completely fall apart and deteriorate. It's not a mystery why this offense was not good and why they struggled. He was pressured at the 6th highest rate of any quarterback, and even Derrick Henry, a total monster, even he was only able to rush for 4.4 yards per carry behind that line that ranked him 29th in the league. So Tennessee, they've revamped the O-line this season. They've got 4 spots on that O-line projected to feature new guys. Okay, we got Eagles former first-rounder Andre Dillard. He's got tons of potential if he can stay healthy. They've got a Titans first-round pick, Peter Skoronski, a Polish guy, gotta love him. Guard, left tackle, former Niners guard Daniel Brunskill as well. So when the Titans win, they win in the trenches. It might not be sexy, but Vrabel thinks it's sexy, and a lot of people think Vrabel is sexy. So ipso facto, it's gonna look good if they can get it together. And we saw with this new front office regime with their GM came together, and they know what they are. They're a trench team, and they put the emphasis back on building up the line. So whether it's Tannehill, whether it's Levis eventually who might get in there, whoever else you might want to throw in there, it's not going to work unless the investment works, and those groups, that group, the offensive line especially, is significantly improved. Not super sexy.
It's not.
Who's like the wideout that's going to pop on the scene?
Treylon Burks. That's who they're counting on. First-round pick last year after they made the A.J. Brown trade.
Arkansas boy.
And he's a physical freak. Saw him have some moments, had some injuries last year, so that's who they're going to be counting on.
I like it. How about the Colts? Let's go with them. The question is, what is the plan with Anthony Richardson? I was in this seat in New York talking to Chris Collinsworth, who said get him to sit for a couple of years. And I don't think that's the plan. They take him to start. He looked incredible at the rookie premiere, by the way. So much hijinks, tomfoolery. There's going to be a ton of pressure on Shane Steichen, an awful lot of temptation to run him out there early. We love a Gardner Minshew around here. We do. But I don't know how long he can satisfy Colts fans who have been thirsty for a franchise quarterback since Andrew Luck and his surprise retirement into a cave somewhere where he's never to emerge. There's not one picture of him like at a 7-Eleven, a Piggly Wiggly, a Costco. Nobody, like if you see Andrew Luck, you know it's Andrew Luck. He can't exactly hide from people. He's just not seen by anyone.
That's a really good point. He resurfaces every now and then. He crawls out of the woodwork.
I hope they're patient.
Yeah.
I hope this team is patient, okay? Give Richardson what he deserves. He's got the potential, he's got the athleticism and the skills. Give him time to sit back, kick it, and develop. Don't make him ace the final in the first week. Let him read the rules of the game, okay? Let him figure it out, feel it out. We want him to be a superstar, and that's the best way. How? The potential, the ability is there, but he's not going to benefit if he's thrown in there right away. So few do. And beyond just the quarterback spot, there's a transition on this team, especially when it comes to the offensive line. Same sort of vibe with Tennessee. I'd be really hesitant to put him out there when you have seen in the NFL over and over again, but even recently, Chicago girl, Justin Fields, he's taken hit and hit and hit over the first couple of years. You hate to see it, and it does stop people developmentally. I'm not calling him Deshaun Kaiser, but like those kind of things, those bad situations, they live up here, they live all over here. It's not great. So, we talked about Andrew Luck. Is Andrew Luck not the best example of this? What happened to him early on, all the extra hits he took behind a really bad offensive line that eventually led to him stepping away into said cave? Come on. And there's a new coaching staff, right? There's a marathon situation here, not a sprint for the Colts. Richardson's development is going to define this entire regime. They need to get it right. And I do think they have the coach to make the most of his skill set. We saw Steichen with Justin Herbert. We saw what he did with Jalen Hurts, who just got paid. Somebody who was in the Super Bowl last year. But the patience is what I would say to make sure Richardson reaches the height of his abilities. And I will also say this, like, fans, don't make it hard on them. Don't make it hard on Irsay, who's going to read your tweets and then tweet something that's going to be a mess. Don't make it hard on Steichen, who give him a chance here as a head coach to, give them the leash a little bit to make it happen, because that's sort of how this snowballs and you're involved. Okay, finally, the Texans. Do we have to? Okay, the Texans. My question for the Texans is, can they be the sneaky last place team that gets into the playoffs? Okay, before you call me insane on the Twitter machine. Hey, idiots that want to tweet about this. It happens every single year, okay? Some team no one is talking about ends up being much better than everyone thought that they would be. The Jags last year, the Bengals, I knew they'd be good, but the Bengals before that.
You got called crazy for saying that, too.
A lot, really, really much so. I'm not going to say it. Ron Rivera, his Commanders, when he took over in 2020, I'm just wondering, do the Texans have the same sort of energy and ingredients? Ingredient one, some exciting young players returning from last year, and they have one of the best left tackles in the game in Laramie Tunsil with the best character arc, one of them in the NFL, a star running back in Damon Pierce. young secondary. They were top 10 last year, and now they have 2022 draft picks, Derek Stingley Jr. and Jalen Petrie, okay? A emerging talent at receiver, Nico Collins. You like him?
Yeah, I do. He
Big
made some
fan?
big plays last year. He
Nobody
also
talks
missed some
about him.
time with injuries, but he made some big plays for them.
All right, then they've got the comeback of John Mechie.
Yeah.
Got a good list here, okay? He probably would have been a first rounder if he wasn't dealing with some of the adversity that he'd been facing. Nick Caserio never is outright or loud. It's always shh. It's always wheeling and dealing quietly. Lets everybody else talk about it. And he sort of silently let everything last year crush it during the draft and brought in and built some great pieces around. So then there's big-time offseason ads here. The Texans added franchise cornerstones in C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson Jr. They snagged top safety Jimmy Ward away from the Niners, Sheldon Rankins away from the Jets to fix that run defense. Hamilton, you're nodding.
Yeah, Rankins a lot of these are really under the radar. Obviously, the 2 top draft picks, but a lot of these are really under the radar pickups that just make that roster so much more complete.
Shaq Mason. They got they traded with Tampa. He's going to help the offensive line. So CJ is probably pretty happy. Yeah, nobody's talking about me. It's the best situation. Influx of talent. Nobody expects anything from me. Ingredient number 3, DeMeco Ryans to bring it all together and whip up something beautiful down there. For the first time in a long time, there's positive momentum building here. And it may not be 2023 in which this comes together, but I wouldn't put it past them, and I would not be shocked, especially like second half of the year, if it's the Jags and the Texans, or the Jags and the Titans having a hard time putting them to bed in that division. I'm just saying. And if you look at FanDuel Sportsbook and you like stuff like that, they have the second longest odds to make the playoffs right now. Pretty good value, Hammy.
Yeah, plus 520. The Cardinals, oof. But yeah, no, I'm with you. They've done a lot of really under the radar, really good things this offseason. I think Caserio is doing an incredible job, and this thing's moving in the right direction.
Caserio's probably pretty mad that we're talking about it. He doesn't like when people do that, but that's okay. We are believing in the Texans. Let us know what you guys think. Up next, we have an absolute legend on the show. Will he be whining and dining with ricotta and chicken and whatever he was going to make for the greatest football player right now? Patrick Mahomes, Henry Winkler is next!